Welcome back everyone, it's Zach from Rare Candy here, and I'm doing my first video for the Rare Candy channel. It's awesome to be part of the Rare Candy crew. Candy crew, what up? And I am going to be covering over Reshiram. So as you can see here, this is one of the decks that's been an early frontrunner in the Unbroken Bonds metagame. It came first place at Santa Clara Regionals, it won Sao Paulo Regionals, and it just came second with Azul coming second at Madison Regionals. So my deck is a little bit different than theirs, specifically the list, and I did take some inspiration from some of the winning lists, but let's go over it one by one here right now. So we have the EV Snorlax GX, which is right there. It's a pretty cool card, and it's good against cards like Zoroark, GX, and other evolution Pokemon. So if you read its Dump Truck Press Attack, it does 120 damage, and if they're an evolution Pokemon, it does 120 more damage. So that's doing a total of 240 damage, which means that you can knock out Zoroark GX, Persian GX, or you can knock out a whole bunch of basic Pokemon for 4 energies. Its Megaton Friends GX attack does 210, and if you have 1 extra energy on it, so 5 energies total, you could draw cards until you have 10 cards in your hand. With 270 HP, this Pokemon's not going anywhere anytime soon. So, if you're playing against a water deck or a stage 1 deck, this is the best one, but our deck is Reshiram, right? Yeah. So, we actually play 2 copies of that card as well, Reshiram, and it has the Outrage attack. So, if your opponent does any damage to it, you do 30 plus 10 for each damage counter already on this Pokemon. So, let's say a Zapdos hits you for 80 damage, you could do Outrage for 30 plus 80 to do 110 damage, knocking it back out. But its Flare Strike attack is where it starts to get juicy. So we got Flare Strike doing 230 damage. This Pokemon can't use Flare Strike during your next turn. So while the drawback of Flare Strike kind of sucks, it's really not that big of a deal because we can just use Double Blaze GX. So 200 damage flat out for 3 energies. But if you have an extra 3 energies, you do 100 more damage and it's going through anything. So 300 damage knocked out through anything. Solid concept there. So how do we power up these Pokemon? Well, in the new Unbroken Bonds set, we did get the support of Welder, so you can attach up to 2 Fire Energy cards from your hand to one of your Pokemon. If you do, you could draw 3 cards. Solid card there. And we gain Fire Crystals, so we can get 3 Fire Energies from our discard pile back into our hand. So that might not be enough to base our entire list around, so I've added some extra support in the form of Kiawe, so you can search your deck for 4 Fire Energy, attach it to one of your Pokemon, shuffle your deck, your turn ends. That's it. But it's really good to kind of like attach 4 energies and end your turn, especially when your Pokemon only needs 4 energies to attack. So really you got to pick and see if you're playing against a stage 1 deck or like let's say a water deck, you might want to go in with EV Snorlax, or if you're going in against pretty much anything else, let's say a Reshiram Mirror or a Blacephalon GX deck, you'd want to go with the Kiawe or the Welder over to this Reshiram Charizard GX. There's some other attackers that we have in this deck, such as Turtonator and Volcanion. So we'll look at the Turtonator first. For Fire, 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 Explosive Jet, it kind of works like a Blacephalon GX, except you can discard any fire energy from your Pokemon. So you're not putting them to the loss zone, which means that you can just like keep on getting it back with Fire Crystal and doing a lot of damage. This Pokemon's only worth 1 prize card, whereas both Reshiram Charizard GX and EV Snorlax GX are both worth 3 prize cards each. So, if you find yourself in a jam, you can use this card to hit for some massive damage and only be worth 1 prize card. Another Pokemon that's kind of a half a card to power up your Pokemon with Flare Starter and half powering it up with half doing damage with High Heat Blast would be Volcanion. So you could do at least 50 damage with High Heat Blast, or you could do an extra 60 damage if you have 4 Fire Energies in play. So you could do 110 damage, which can be good to either 2-shot a Pokemon or 1-shot a kind of like a single prize card basic Pokemon. We'll use Zapdos again as an example because that card's pretty popular, but you could also knock out like a Poipole, a Meowth, a Zorua, lots of different Pokemon there. Our base of the deck for our consistency engine is Jirachi, so Jirachi allows us to look at the top 5 cards, grab a trainer card, put it in our hand, and Jirachi falls asleep. And we have plenty of Switch in the deck, 4 of them in fact. And we have 2 escape boards as well. So we can always switch between our Jirachis, get the cards that we need. So an ideal turn here would be start with Jirachi, grab a Kiawe, or maybe grab an Ultra Ball to grab a Tapu Lele to grab a Kiawe, power up a Reshiram Charizard GX. So with that being said, This deck seems pretty consistent. We'll go over a few other cards that we have in this deck that are pretty cool. So you got Miltank, and as long as Miltank's your active Pokemon, you can heal 90 damage when you attach an energy to one of your Pokemon. So it sounds a little difficult to get the Miltank in the active position, but when you play 4 copies of Switch, you play 2 copies of a Skateboard, you have a whole bunch of energies in your deck, 12 in fact, and you have things like Welder. You could do a lot of healing, you could do a lot of getting that Miltank in the active position. And just to be very clear, it seems like it wouldn't work, but it totally does. If you go Welder onto one of your, let's say, bench Reshiram Charizard Pokemon, and you attach 2 fire energies, you could heal 180 damage. You could also attach for your turn and heal upwards of 270 damage. So you could fully heal one of your Pokemon in this deck with Welder. So the Miltank's there if your opponent's doing a lot of damage and you just want to make sure that your Pokemon can get that attack. Don't be afraid to retreat, hard retreat, like 3-4 energy retreat cost into this Miltank, especially if you're going to Welder your energy back to it. We do have Dedenne, so a new card from Unbroken Bonds as well. You can discard it, play it down from your hand, discard your hand, and draw 6 cards. Can be a little bit resourceful, and I like to be a little bit more conservative than this, but you never know when you're going to need that last card. You Guzma up one of your opponent's Pokemon, and you're looking for a choice band. Yeah, the Dedenne is going to be there to make sure that you can get those extra cards. And one of my favorite strategies to do with this deck is to go Marshadow, Let Loose. After you're going to go Let Loose into a Megaton Friends GX. It seems like you just can't lose at that point because you're going to have 10 cards, your opponent's down at 4. You probably just took a big knockout on your opponent's Pokemon. Remember, you could put Choice Band, you could have Shrine of Punishment. It just seems like a really strong play. Some other notable cards that we have in this deck are Tapu Lele. It allows us to search our deck for a supporter. I don't really do too much attacking, but if you ever find yourself in a jam, Energy Drive can do a lot of damage. Fiery Flint. If you need to get any fire energies in your hands, this card can definitely save your butt for sure. Just drawing 4 fire energies out of your deck. Fishing them away, maybe you could Welder into it. Pretty cool concept. Fire Crystal, like I said before, you can get the back from your discard pile after you either retreat or your opponent knocks out one of your Pokemon. Nest Ball, we want to make sure that we can just get our Pokemon out there. Switch between our Jirachis, switch into a Miltank. We got Ultra Ball, so we could search out a Dedenne, a Tapu Lele. We want to make sure that we can get out Marshadow maybe, and it's a really good way for you to get your Reshiram Charizard GX or your Eevee Snorlax GX. Heat Factory, so just another way if our deck wasn't consistent enough with all of these cards. We got Heat Factory Prism Star. You can discard a fire energy from your hand, get it back, and draw 3 cards, and you can get the back with Fire Crystal. Got Shrine of Punishment, so this is a really weird card that a lot of people are not playing, and I think they're absolutely sleeping on it. Shrine of Punishment allows you to put 1 damage counter on each of your Pokemon GX and EX in between turns, and your opponent's Pokemon EX and GX in between turns. So basically, all the EX, GX are getting damage. And in this format, standard right now, we only have GX Pokemon, so we'll only deal with that. So how does it work out math-wise? Well, I actually played it to beat Reshiram Charizard GX Mirror. So you can get a knockout with Double Blaze GX if you have 6 energies attached total. And the best way to do that is to go attach an energy to your turn for your Reshiram Charizard GX, Kiawe for your turn, so now you're at 5 energies. Now you can attach another 5 energy and you're hitting for a clean 300 damage. But how do you get the next knockout? So Flare Strike allows you to do 230 damage. With a Choice Band you're doing 260, and with 1 tick of the Shrine of Punishment damage, you're doing 270 damage. So big plays there. It's really a boastful move, but it does allow you to get there. Another nifty trick that you could do is also upping your damage for Outrage. You just got to be careful not to put too much damage onto this Reshiram Charizard with Shrine of Punishments. And some other consistency cards. I got 2 Cynthias here, got 3 Guzmas, 4 Kiawe, 4 Welder, couple Choice Bands, couple of Skateboards, and 12 Fire Energies. So this is a really simple deck. I totally advise you to take a screenshot right now if you want to give this list a try out. There's a list right there. Take the picture of it. I'll give you a couple thumbs up. Give you a moment there. This is a deck that I'm seriously considering for both the Origin Special Event and for North American International Championships. Reshizard seems like a sure bet to get yourself some championship points, and at the end of the day, even if the deck's failing on you, you're going to have a lot of fun getting a lot of energies out in play. We'll see how the metagame shapes up going into those events. But until then, let's play a couple games on the Versus ladder. So let's go over to Versus. So I'm not really sure what we're going to be playing against, but we'll see. When it comes to calling the coin flip, doesn't really matter what we pick. I'm feeling lucky today with Tails. Hopefully we got it. And obviously I was not that lucky. I am not going first, but maybe my opponent will let me go first. They always have that opportunity. Let's see. Come on, opponent. Let's see who's going first. Okay. Looks like they're definitely going to be going first. And alrighty then. So starting off with Marshadow is not the most fun, but we do have some options that we can do with this hand. So let's see what our opponent's playing, and we'll see if we can get around this. Okay, so it looks like our opponent mulliganed, and we'll see what they're playing. So Metal, Lieutenant Surge, I'm not entirely sure what they're playing. They could be playing, seems like they're playing some kind of weird lock deck. Find out. Okay, so our opponent's just choosing an active Pokemon right now, and this is a great time for us to look over our hand. So we can go Ultra Ball, searching our deck for like a Tapu Lele. We can search for a Dedenne. So maybe we can even search for a Tapu Lele and a Reshiram Charizard GX. Ooh, our opponent got 5 mulligans. Let's see how that goes. Beldum. Huh. Oh, okay. So they're probably playing Metagross GX deck with, Metal Frying Pan. So we are not going to be doing any weakness, and we're also going to be doing minus 30 to those Pokemon. But we'll see exactly what we have. I think we could actually win if they don't get another Pokemon out. The Water-type Pokemon in their deck is probably in a Alolan Vulpix. Yeah, so even though our hand was not that good and we did draw a few cards, it looks like I can just win this game right now if we do have Tapu Lele in our deck. So my train of thought is going Ultra Ball, discarding a couple cards, searching for a Tapu Lele, searching for a Welder, searching for a Reshiram Charizard GX, weldering to the Reshiram Charizard GX, and getting that big knockout. Now we do have a Turtonator, and we could get the knockout with Turtonator, but I don't really want to. So let's do this. I only need one of the Ultra Balls, but I'm going to discard a Fire because we do have a Fire Crystal in our hand, and we can get them back. So we do have a Tapu Lele, we do have a Reshiram Charizard. Do we have a Welder? We do have a Welder. So let's go for Reshiram Charizard GX. I think that gives us at least a chance of our opponent scooping. So there's the Reshiram Charizard GX. Ultra Ball, we can discard Fire. And remember, we're going to get them back with Fire Crystal. Fire Crystal is a really good way to manage your hand of resources. Okay, Tapu Lele. Let's search our deck for some stuff. Welder. So even though this hand was not powerful at the very beginning, we were able to win on the first turn, or at least I hope we're going to win on the first turn. We still have a lot of other options that we could be doing here too. I'm sure our opponent probably knows that we're up to something crazy. Welder. Fire. Done. Hit on the Reshiram Charizard GX. And of course we had to get another switch. Let's do that. Switch. And their deck was not quick enough for ours. Double Blaze GX. Goodbye. Only 170 damage turn 1 with the Metal Frying Pan. And no weakness. So, yeah. This deck is hot fire. So I'm not entirely sure exactly what type of deck this is going to be. But it could be something really cool. We won the coin flip, and yes, we want to go first. This is definitely a deck where we want to go first so we can get our Kiawe off before our opponent. Ooh, some fun hands here. Maybe we'll top deck a Pokemon or something like that. Ugh. It's definitely a gross hand to be looking at. Okay, so we got another fire Pokemon. I don't really want to go Fiery Flint, so we'll see if we can get anything off this Stellar Wish. So we did get an Ultra Ball. I'm actually like okay with just going Ultra Ball here and then just getting some things set up. Just like attaching a manual energy to our Pokemon. With them playing Psychic Dark, I don't really see any issue for us not to grab the Reshiram Charizard GX. We only have one. We also only have one EV Snorlax, so we know that we have those Pokemon in our prize cards. Other cards that we have prized would be a Caolan. So there's 3. We did prize an energy. And I'm gapping on the last couple cards, but that's okay. We're okay. Do we prize a Volcanion? Yeah, there's a Volcanion. So there's one more card hiding away in there. But let's just go for Reshiram Charizard GX. It gives us a higher chance to get to our Double Blaze GX. Fire energy right there. Not too much else that we can do. Our opponent's probably really happy, but I'm not entirely sure what they're going to be doing here. So let's just go for a pass there. Maybe they're playing a Greninja Zoroark GX deck, the tag team, and they're using Sharpedo to power up their Pokemon. So our opponent's thinking about it. There's a Darkrai Prism Star, which when you play from your hand, you may attach 2 dark energies from your hand to it. So they did get the 2 energies there. It's kind of a cool tech, and it does keep it more in line with them playing Greninja Zoroark GX. See if they grab one off a Nest Ball here. What is our opponent going to grab off the Nest Ball? So we were definitely right there. Got the Greninja Zoroark GX, 250 HP, and it's going to be using Dark Pulse, 30 plus 30 for the amount of energies attached. Ooh, okay, so we did grab a Tapu Lele GX. Now, I'm just trying to think of exactly what's the best way for us to do this here. So we don't instantly have a knockout. Let's go for Stellar Wish first before we do anything else. Okay, we grabbed an Ultra Ball, which means that we can get some support going on for next turn. And let's just go there. Let's just do this. Tapu Lele GX. And let's grab a Kiawe. I don't think our opponent can do a lot of damage to this, this Reshiram Charizard GX right away, so my plan is to try to Guzma up their tag team Pokemon and wipe a whole bunch of energy off of it. Okay, so we're fully powered up to use Double Blaze GX. Let's see what exactly our opponent does here. Okay, so they're going to get the Sharpedo out, and the Sharpedo is, when you play it down from your hand, look at the top 6 cards of your deck, grab any dark energies and shuffle them away the other cards. So they're going to look at the top 6 cards of their deck and see what they're going to attach. Now, did they just attach the single dark energy? What exactly? Okay, Erica's, so they're not going to get any kind of Guzma on us, so if we get a Guzma on them, we can draw 3 prize cards. Ooh, are they going to try to take a knockout on the Jirachi? Not entirely sure what our opponent's plan is here. The thing about this deck is that it's slightly inconsistent for our opponent. So even with our very difficult start, turn 2, we powered up 6 energies on our Pokemon. So that's a bad start for this deck. Okay, and no attack from our opponent. We did get an escape board. So before we do anything, I actually just want to go in with Stellar Wish. Do I want to grab anything? Let's just grab a Choice Band. Sounds like a pretty hot pick. I'm going to go Ultra Ball, discarding this and this. And we can get out a Dedenne. Dedenne is going to allow us to dig further into our deck. Do I want to waste that Fire Crystal at all and get an energy? They have a lot of energies attached to their Pokemon. Yeah, we might as well get an energy attached to our Tapu Lele. I think that sounds like a pretty good plan, just in case they attach a lot of energies onto one of their Pokemon. And it does give us an option to retreat later on. So let's go Dead-Eye Charge, and hopefully we can hit a Guzma here. Okay, we do have the option to hit with the Jirachi again, so let's go Jirachi. Still no supporter, which is kind of crazy. There's the Guzma, cool. So sometimes you just gotta fight a little bit for it, and you will get the Guzma. Just stay calm when you're doing it. Seems pretty good. I just want to read this card again. Discard all tools from your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay, I just want to make sure it wasn't all in play. So there's our Guzma, bringing that guy up. And I think I'm actually just going to go for the Flare Strike unless they have something else. We'd be asleep. And what does this one do again? There's 20 times the amount of dark energy attached to this Pokemon. So nothing that affects us based off the amount of energies that we have. So let's just go Flare Strike. Yeah, that seems pretty hot. So on the third turn, we've drawn 3 prize cards. So basically a prize card per turn. There's our Eevee Snorlax and our Reshiram. Maybe next turn we'll be able to get another Guzma, especially if they drop another Zoroark Greninja GX. Okay, they got a Viridian out for us, which could be okay. We don't really need any more energies right now. But we're just really hoping that they drop another Pokemon that's worth 3 prize cards. Although, I do feel pretty confident that we could just try to start attacking their Pokemon with like Double Blaze, going back into a Flare Strike, and just naturally win this game. We do have access to another Reshiram Charizard GX and a Eevee Snorlax GX. So no matter what our opponent really does here, it seems like they're just in a rough position. So we'll see exactly how they finish off their turn, but I think we're just in such a commanding position that we're going to do very well. Maybe our opponent's just going to timer stall us out. It's more of a waiting game. I don't think they were expecting us to get that big knockout. Ooh, Tapu Lele GX. I wonder what they're going to grab with that. That's another Pokemon that we can knock out for 2 prize cards. So maybe we could turn this, instead of a 3-turn game, into getting... Oh, choose a basic Pokemon from your discard pile. What are they going to do here? Are they going to switch with a Zoroark Greninja GX? Greninja Zoroark GX? What? Does there... Okay. So maybe our opponent's a little bit new, but we're just going to go right in with a Double Blaze GX. Get out of here. And that's game. So we won the game in 4 turns. You saw, so the first game that we played, we won the game in 1 turn. We just won against our opponent setting up in 4 turns. Our opponent didn't seem that experienced. They kind of walked right into that play. So that's a little bit weird. And that doesn't happen too often, but it still happens enough. Okay, let's jump into another one, so you can see how this deck sets up a little bit more. Okay, so a Fire Dragon type deck. It looks like they might be playing a Greens Exploration version of this deck. Okay, definitely want to go first again. That sounds pretty hot. What's with these awkward hands? So if they're playing fire, we want to fight fire with fire, as the saying goes. And since we're going first, there's no reason for us to bench any of our other Pokemon onto our field. So let's just see what our opponent has to offer. Looks like they're going to be benching a couple Pokemon. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know what the Cold Growlithe strategy about their deck is going to do, but I'm also not really that worried about it. Let's attach an energy there. Let's drop another one of those guys there, and in case they do play a bunch of stage 1 Pokemon, let's drop one of those there. So I'm going to Marshadow first, and the reason why we didn't go Heat Factory first is so we have a chance of getting something off the Marshadow. And yeah, I think we're in a pretty solid position. I'm going to drop a Jirachi and go turn 1 Kiawe onto my active, so I'm ready to get a knockout next turn. That's a mouthful. Okay. So hopefully our opponent's a little bit terrified with what we just did during our first turn. I don't think they have too much of a comeback for that. Growlithe pass. Nest Ball. Maybe they're going to Nest Ball for a Reshiram Charizard GX. Because we do know that the list that a lot of the Dead Draw Gaming players did play Arcanine. And Arcanine's pretty good against attacking against Vileplume. Ooh. That's kind of a weird wave. So they're not going to get a lot of energies in play this turn. Maybe the Lily will help them get a Welder. Okay, Great Ball. So just some typical stuff. It seems like it's just kind of like a fire all around deck. Wish Baton. Cool. Nothing too bad going on here. So they're just going to hit us for a flat 10. And we are just going to get set up with a Cynthia. Looks like they decided not to use Heat Factory at all. And looks like we are not going to be using Heat Factory at all either without getting any fire energies. So we're just going to go for a Flare Strike first, because if we go Flare Strike, we can use Double Blaze, then we could use Flare Strike again. Seems like the type of matchup that we just want to continuously hit our opponent hard. So there's a Flare Strike. Maybe if they do enough damage to us, we can use Outrage. And maybe this matchup will get a little bit more difficult as the game progresses. Like, our hand's not particularly strong, and it's a weird kind of single prize card deck. It's going to be really surprising to see what our opponent offers in the next couple turns. I believe both their attack costs like 3 energies, and that's if they're going to get out the Arcanine. Guzma. Okay. Well, we have Switch if they decide to Guzma and stall for a little bit. That'd be pretty nifty. See what they hit off the Great Ball, that is. Okay, so they're playing the Salazzle with Roast Reveal to try to draw some cards. It's no Salazzle GX or any Hot Poison Salazzle. Okay. Well, there's kind of what I expected here. Hopefully they only attach 1 energy. So maybe they don't have another energy and they're just going to go for a Combustion here for 50 damage. Do they have the other energy is the question. Because they could just keep on attaching things with Grand Flame. Oh, they definitely have another energy. It seems kind of weird. Maybe they're going to try to Fire Crystal something back or go in with a Heat Factory. If I can get out another Marshadow, I would like to. There's the Fire Crystal. Good thing about Fire Crystal is that they're not going to get their energies back for Grand Flame because they only have 0 energies in their discard pile. So they're going to hit me for 120. And if they don't get Wishful Baton, they might find themselves in a little bit of a jam. So it just depends if our opponent gets the Wishful Baton, if they're going to be doing too much. Maybe they thought they attached for their turn as well. Ooh, there's another Heat Factor. They're probably digging for it. Fiery Flint, that's a lot of energies. Okay, so they're getting built up. If we can get an energy, we could actually heal with the Miltank. That'd be hot. Bunches of energies for our opponents. Surprised they didn't discard more off their, oh, there's a a Wishful Baton. Wonder what they're going to grab off the, okay, just another Growlithe. This might be difficult for us to actually keep up with. Oh, and there's a Shrine. Yikes. Weird single prize card decks. So you can see that Reshizard's such a popular deck that people want to be playing decks to just beat it. This is definitely one of those decks that sounds like a pretty difficult matchup. And with the way that this is working out, let's just go switch into a Jirachi. Let's go Stellar Wish. Now we do have access to Guzma, but they will knock us out the next turn. Let's just go like Ultra Ball. Now, we don't play any Field Blower, so we can't really get around that Wishful Baton, or the Shrine of Punishment that is for the rest of the game. Let's see what we can hit with this Volcanion. I'm going to discard one of the Welders, just because we might want to go Kiawe. Let's Guzma up that guy, just so that they have a lesser chance of drawing anything hot. And Marshadow. It's kind of a weird game. I'm not entirely sure if I'm playing this 100% correctly, but it seems generally okay. I'm just not getting any energies for whatever reason. Like, I haven't discarded any, and there's 7 between my deck, everything else that I have going on. So let's just go for an Outrage here, and that's definitely going to get the knockout. Will be put down to 120 HP remaining, and we'll see exactly where that takes us. There's another Arcanine. See what our opponent does here. Nest Ball, probably going to grab a Salandit. And if they're playing Salandit in their deck, they should be probably playing the one with Call for Family from Dragon Majesty, just so they can get some of their other Pokemon back. Definitely think that's the best one. Now, we don't necessarily have, unless we top deck like a Fire Crystal, for example, we're in a rough spot. So let's go for Jirachi. So we didn't top deck a Fire Crystal, but maybe we can get one off Stellar Wish. Okay, we can go for Fiery Flint. That will help us get some damage on board. Don't really need this Jirachi or this Welder. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So we can get our GX attack off this turn. Maybe, again, our opponent didn't have too much going on. So let's go for Welder. Attaching to our Reshiram Charizard GX. Attaching for a turn. Skateboard, retreat, send up. And let's just go for our double plays GX attack. So we have drawn 3 prize cards after this, but I think our opponent is going to just grab the win if they move things to their Turtonator. Yeah. So that's that. Seems like a very difficult deck to play around, especially for Reshizard. That's okay. You can't go into a tournament or playing any game of Pokemon that is and expect to win everything, right? So I'm completely fine losing to a deck like this because I went in with a Reshiram Charizard GX deck. Let's give our opponent a smile face because they destroyed us, but our setup was actually pretty solid for a while. And that's all that really matters when you're playing this deck. Let's try to hit something a little bit more on trend with the metagame and jump into another game right after this. If you had to ask me, this is definitely a lightning deck, but maybe it's just a Dedenne tech. We're going first again. That's pretty awesome. But no basics. Start with Volcanion, but we did get Kiawe off. And Kiawe after that, and Kiawe after that. And we got a Reshiram off. Okay, cool. Let's go like this. We don't need all these Kiawes. Maybe I could have kept another Kiawe, but I'm okay with this. Just getting a handful of fire energies. That sounds hot. Getting an energy on there. Going turn 1 Kiawe. I'm going to save that Nest Ball. See exactly if there's anything that I want to get. Can't complain about that. We have a Guzma, especially if our opponent brings out a Pikarom or something like that. Just knock that straight out. Hopefully they don't go for like a Tapu Koko GX right off the beginning. Ooh, Shrine of Punishment. Is this some kind of what would be colorless in their deck if they were playing Zapdos? I'm not even sure about that. Oh, an Escape Rope. A Lily for 1? Okay, this is definitely a bit weirder than I thought it was going to be. Okay, let's go Nest Ball. Nest Ball for, let's go for a Reshizard. Start powering up that guy because our opponent just is doing Zapdos things. I'm gonna go Outrage. Outrage is the most efficient attack we could do there. Alright. And see what our opponent does this turn. Oh, Nest Ball. I guess we'll see a little bit more of what our opponent's playing here. Another Zapdos? Okay. See what Stellar Wish brings them? We do have Switch. A Volkner, okay. So they can grab like an Escape Board and a Lightning Energy. That might be kind of hot. Oh, an Electro Power. Do they have another way out of the active position? Jeez. Our opponent's hard hidden this game. Let's just go like Ultra Ball here. And let's go for like a Dedenne. I was really trying to get out that Miltank, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Considering it's not in our deck. Okay, so we're gonna attach a Fire Energy here. I just want to do my math again correctly. Blah, 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 blah. 30 plus 20 is gonna knock out that Jirachi. So maybe our opponent doesn't have anything great. We do have this Dedenne right here. But I don't think we necessarily even need anything. I'm just going to go for Outrage. And our opponent might just lose next turn because we have our GX attack in play. We've drawn 2 prize cards. That Charizard GX is going to get knocked out, but at the end of our opponent's next turn. So if they don't get anything here, we could actually just win. Hopefully. Oh, another Nest Ball? Come on. Opponent won't stop fighting for this. An Escape Rope? Gosh. We'll send up this because we know that our active Pokemon's just going to get knocked out. Shrine of Punishment is sure being pesky. A Choice Band? Okay. Choice Band on their Zapdos, Wobbuffet, and a Guzma. They're definitely going all in. But they have 0 cards in their hands. Maybe they won't get anything good off their 3 prize cards that they're going to draw there. I'm going to go Tapu Lele, and just in case, I'm going to try to knock out that Jirachi. So you can see when our Miltank's prize, it can create some issues, and we're only losing here because of our prizing. And because our opponent somehow finds a way to get away around every little thing that we have. Let's like Guzma that one up. Retreat, send that up. And I'm actually fine just attaching an energy there. Let's go for Outrage, because we're certainly doing enough damage to all of our opponent's Pokemon. Maybe we'll be able to survive until the end of the game. And we still can't find that Miltank. What's our opponent going to do here is the question. Do they have a switch? Like another one? Like how many cards have they played? 2 escape ropes and a switch. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we just lose here because of our opponent just drawing absolutely everything off of purely dead drawing. I'm actually so upset at that I'm just gonna go Grrr. What are they doing here? They're actually just slow rolling us. Goodbye, Reshiram. So live by the 2 prize card attackers, or by the 3 prize card attackers, I should say, because that's why we lost that one. Maybe this is a Zapdos Beast deck. Lost the coin flip. Oh well, that's fine. That looked like a pretty good hand until we got no basics. Okay, well, we did get a Kiawe and an Ultra Ball, so that's pretty good. Definitely have some options there. Zapdos can be a bit of a tough matchup. And that's just because they play Tapu Koko GX. And Tapu Koko GX is 50 damage per each energy attached to my Pokemon. Volkner is a bit of a weird turn 1 supporter for them. So we'll see. I'm kind of excited to see what they draw, or curious I should say. Yeah, maybe they just want to get another Pokemon out. That kind of makes sense. But it's just like, it's kind of good mid-game to grab like that missing piece of like lightning energy and like maybe an escape board or an electro power. Not necessarily the first pick. So there's the Zapdos. Let's see what else our opponent wants to do. Maybe they'll drop like a Marshadow against us. Or not. Okay, so we probably don't need too much else here. Let's just go with probably just like a Reshiram, I assume. Actually, you wanna know what? I'm fine with the Eevee Snorlax there. Just because we might want to draw some more cards after this. I'm going to attach there. I'm going to go Kiawe, 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, energies. Work with me here. Yeah, I wanted to attach to the Miltank just in case we need to retreat. And if our opponent doesn't get the knockout on us, then we're all golden. So if our opponent doesn't have a Guzma, I think we're in pretty good shape. If not, we might be slightly behind here. But at least, unlike the other Zapdos game, we do have the Miltank. Our opponent's deck's really good at doing chip damage, and that's exactly what happened the other game. So, see what they get off this Stellar Wish. Because it's really like, it's more of our opponents dictate the way that this game goes. Like, this deck, you can see in all the games, Kiawe, Welder, we're always powered up. It's really what our opponent brings to the table. Our opponent's just not scooping here, so it shows that they have something going on. But we're not entirely sure, and by the amount of time that our opponent's taking, I don't think our opponent's that sure either. Okay, there's an escape board. Escape board's always good, just to retreat that Jirachi, even if it's asleep. Maybe they're just kind of get the knockout on the Miltank, but it doesn't seem like they have like another draw supporter in their hand. Maybe they just have like a bunch of lilies or something. It's really, something seems off about this game. Oh, an escape rope. Fun times! Cool, so maybe they'll just hit us for 80, not play any electro powers. Let's cross our fingers, cross our toes, cross our arms. Word. There's a lightning energy on the Jirach. 1 electro power. Is our opponent just going to drop like 4 here? Okay, just 1. Thunderous Assault, that's okay. They are about to lose that Zapdos. I'm going to put an escape rope there in case we get a switch of some sort. Or escape board, I should say. Nothing too much going on over here. We might as well go for another big attack. Our hand's kind of small, so let's just get that Megaton Friends GX out of the way. Hopefully our opponent's not going to get a knockout on this Pokemon, but you never know. This gives us a good chance at kind of responding with something good. Okay, so we got a switch. Got a Guzma, we got a Welder, we got a Fire, Fiery Flint. We could do some massive healing. Absol, so that's going to give us 1 more retreat, so our opponent's seeing right through our escape board. Another escape board for our opponent. And hopefully they don't get much off this Stellar Wish. I'm kind of assuming that their hand doesn't have that many special cards in it, so... Nest Ball, maybe they'll get another attack off, we'll see. See what our opponent has coming for us. The worst case scenario here is that they drop Lightning Energy on one of their other Pokemon like Absol, drop a Thunder Mountain Prism Star, and they can get out a Tapu Koko GX. That would get a quick knockout. That would probably set us behind here a little bit. But obviously you can't grab a Tapu Koko GX to use its ability off a Nest Ball. You have to play it down for your hands. So I'm assuming they're probably just going to grab like probably another Zapdos here. If my hunch is correct. Oh, another Jirachi, huh. Maybe they're really fighting for something. Maybe they have most of the pieces. But this is where Jirachi can absolutely fail you as a deck, because like it's only to the top 5 cards of the deck, and with their opponent having 36 cards in their deck, it's like a 1 in 7 odds for any particular card in the deck, and that's not even including non-trainer cards, so your odds can sometimes be smaller than that, especially considering what you have in your prize cards. Ultra Ball there. So Ultra Ball can be bad news for us, especially if our opponent goes for a Koko. Now, if we do top deck a Reshiram Charizard, we can respawn. Oh, I guess we can't respond with our GX attack. We can respond with a Turtonator to do 150. Okay, they're just grabbing a Zapdos. So it looks like the coast is clear on that regard. Not entirely sure what our opponent's doing here. I don't know if they're like planning a big play or if they're just a little bit inexperienced in this matchup. Okay, they're just gonna go for a coin flip there. I want to take care of that Jirachi. Actually, no, I want to take care of that Zapdos. Zapdos definitely sounds like something I want to take care of. So let's go Guzma, bring that up, send up my Miltank. See the Miltank in action for the first time. Cool stuff, right? Right. Switch. And just like that, the damage does not exist anymore. Dump Truck Press. Although we are playing with fire, or I guess I should say I'm playing with fire. And I'm literally playing with fire. But in all seriousness, our opponent could just kind of pop off with a Tapu Koko GX out of nowhere. But it just doesn't seem like their hand's allowing them to do that. Maybe they'll grab a Buzzwole here if they're playing the Zap Beast portion of the deck. There's another Ultra Ball. Or they're just going to keep on going back and forth with Jirachi, because if they do that, I'm completely fine with it. Guzma. Yeah, no, I apologize, and again, I don't know what's taking my opponent so long here. They're either, like I said, they're either thinking out their moves very carefully, or they're a little bit uncomfortable with this matchup. I'm just Reshiram Charizard GX. This deck in general is just keep on throwing things at your opponent until they miss or you just win. There's a Zeb. What are they gonna grab here off this Ultra Ball? Maybe they're like thinking hard because their Coco GX is actually prized, because like all of these seem like opportunities for them to try to grab it. Okay, maybe we can get a Pokemon here. And ta-da! Kiawe after a little bit does not do anything. So we're just gonna grab a Reshiram Charizard, double check, see how many fires we have in the deck. We got 4 of them. That's pretty hot. Let's drop that. Let's drop this. We're not going to need another Fiery Flint. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is doing a lot better than the other Zapdos deck. And we're going to shut them off the Buzzwole turn if they do play Buzzwole. Okay, so we got a Reshizard almost all the way powered up. And let's just keep on going with Dump Truck Press. This Eevee Snorlax is wavy, but it keeps on drawing them prize cards. So let's draw that one, get that one out of the way. Ooh, a Volcanion. Volcanion actually might be a pretty good attacker in this matchup. It takes 2 Electro Powers from our opponent to knock out if they're attacking with Zapdos. And it does 110 damage, which knocks out a Zapdos. So pretty cool there. It does cost us 5 energy to retreat though, so that kind of sounds lame. And we have 6, 10, 11 of our energies in play and in our hand right now. So we know we have 1 in our prize cards out of the last 3 cards, but maybe that Volcanion would be good enough for us to just take a couple of knockouts. Because we've already drawn 3 prize cards with our Eevee Snorlax GX. That's pretty much all I could ever ask for. What's our opponent going to grab from the Volkner? Rescue Stretcher, Lightning Energy. Like, I'm really waiting for them to just like drop a Tapu Koko GX, Tapu Koko Prism Star. Let's get that big knockout. But they're not really getting that big knockout at all. They're not even doing chip damage. So this turn they should be able to do chip damage. Yeah. I'm glad that our opponent figured it out after a while, that it wasn't going to work out, but that's okay. Let's look at the deck one more time. I'm actually super confident with this list. Seems like absolutely one of the best lists available for the deck. And it's right here on Rare Candy, so I hope that you enjoy it. For my first video, that is. I apologize if I'm a little bit nervous. It's been a while since I filmed my last YouTube video, but I'm super excited for this opportunity to be with Rare Candy, making things. So this is the deck. Like I said, take a screenshot of the deck. Hopefully you like it. Give it a try out. Maybe it's going to be your next pick for NAIC. If you did enjoy this content, be sure to like and subscribe, and consider supporting the channel by becoming a patron. So go to patreon.com/rarecandytcg. You can support us by that, or you can go to rarecandytcg.com, pick up some merch, some pretty solid stuff on the site. Like I said, Reshizard, solid deck. I think it's one of the absolute best decks in the format, so if you don't like Reshizard, you're definitely sleeping on it. If you do like Reshizard, give this list a try. That being said, I'm Zach Lesage, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.